Welcome to lesson 27. Today we're going to learn past continuous negative. So remember we did past continuous positive and now we're doing negative. So what does it mean negative? It means we use not. So when we use the past continuous, we talk about actions in the past and often we use it with past simple. So remember the example, I was reading a book when my mother came home. Now it's I was not reading a book, long action. When my mother came home, I was sleeping. So positive, you have your subject, then you have your verb, and then you have your action verb with ing. So I was walking in the park. Read with me. I was walking in the park. He was eating a hamburger. She was learning English. It was making a noise. You were doing the housework. We were playing football. They were speaking on the phone. Now, do you remember where the not goes? Does it go in before the was or after the was? Do you remember? It goes after, between the two verbs. So I was not walking in the park. Read with me. I was not walking in the park. He was not eating a hamburger. She was not learning English. It was not making a noise. You were not doing the housework. We were not playing football. They were not speaking on the phone. Now, English people can be a little bit lazy, right? Especially when we talk. So sometimes we don't want to say was not. We say wasn't, wasn't. I wasn't walking in the park. He wasn't eating a hamburger. She wasn't learning English. It wasn't making a noise. You weren't doing the housework. We weren't playing football. They weren't speaking on the phone. Nice. Now this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky because we have a long action and a short action. Remember from the last lesson. So I was walking in the park when I saw my friend. Negative. I was not walking in the park when I saw my friend. Read it with me. I was not walking in the park when I saw my friend. He wasn't eating a hamburger when his phone rang. Amy was not learning English when she met John. The dog wasn't making a noise when the doorbell rang. You were not doing the housework when we visited. We were not playing football when it started to rain. They weren't speaking on the phone when she sneezed. So if you say, I was not walking in the park, or if you say, I wasn't walking in the park, is it the same? Yes, it's exactly the same. You can say, I was not, or I wasn't. You can say you were not, or you weren't, as you like. So let's practice. She was not writing on the board, or she not was writing on the board. No, not must come between the two verbs. She was not writing on the board. They wasn't listening to the lesson, or they weren't listening to the lesson. They weren't listening to the lesson. Now this one you can do. I was not driving carefully. My uncles, remember more than one, uncles? My uncles weren't working for the army. Now this is where we have the long action. My mother was not feeding the baby with the short action when I got home, or my mother weren't feeding the baby when I got home. That's right, my mother was not feeding the baby when I got home. And this one you can do. They weren't playing computer games when the screen went off. Good. So is it clearer now? I hope so. The next time we're going to be doing past continuous questions, and it's going to be the last lesson in beginner level. Great job. Well done.